I sat on the couch, staring at the clock. 2:30 p.m. She was late, again. My wife, Emily, had told me she was meeting a friend for lunch. She dressed up more than usual, spritzed on that perfume she only used for special occasions, and left with a smile that felt different. Not the warm, loving smile I used to know. This one had an edge to it, like she was holding on to a secret. I wanted to believe I was being paranoid, but deep down, I already knew the truth. The late lunches, the unexplained phone calls, the sudden burst of attention to her looks, it all pointed to one thing. But today, I decided enough was enough. The front door swung open, and Emily walked in with a bounce in her step, her lips curled into a grin. She looked like someone who had just won the lottery, not like a married woman returning home to her husband. "Hey, babe," she chimed, kicking off her heels. "How was your day?" I clenched my jaw. "Fine." She strolled into the kitchen, humming a tune, while I observed her closely. There was a glow about her, one that had nothing to do with me. Her phone buzzed in her hand, and she turned the screen away from me, smiling before quickly typing out a response. "How was lunch?" I asked, keeping my tone even. She barely glanced up. "Oh, it was nice. Just grabbed something quick with Amanda." Amanda. Her favorite excuse. I had spoken to Amanda just this morning, and she had made it clear she hadn't seen Emily in weeks. I stood up slowly. "You sure about that?" Emily finally looked at me, her smile faltering just a little. Yeah. "Why?" I walked to the counter, picking up my phone. "Because I called Amanda earlier. She said she hasn't seen you in a while." Her eyes flickered with something. Panic? Annoyance? She covered it quickly with a forced laugh. "Oh. I meant to say I saw her last week. Today, I actually grabbed lunch alone. Just needed some me time." She was a good liar. Too good. But I had proof she wasn't alone today. I reached into my pocket, pulled out my own phone, and tapped the screen a few times. Then, I turned it around and held it up for her to see. It was a picture. A picture of her sitting at a cafe across from a man she had once called just a friend. But they weren't just sitting there. She was laughing, leaning in close, her hand on his arm. His fingers brushed against hers, a familiar intimacy in the way they looked at each other. Her face drained of color. "Care to explain this?" I asked, my voice calm but firm. She blinked rapidly, her mouth opening and closing like she was searching for the right light to spin. I had caught her, and she knew it. But she had no idea that this was just the beginning. Emily let out a nervous laugh, but it was shaky, forced. "Wow, you're spying on me now? That's really low, Ethan." I didn't blink. "That's the best you've got?" Deflecting and making me the bad guy. I set my phone down on the counter. "Tell me, Emily, if it was just an innocent lunch, why did you lie about it?" She crossed her arms, her body stiff. "I didn't lie. I didn't think it was a big deal. I knew you'd overreact like this, so I didn't mention it." "Overreact?" I let out a bitter chuckle. "You told me you were having lunch with Amanda. Instead, you were with him." I pointed at the picture. "That's not forgetting a detail. That's lying." Emily's lips pressed into a thin line. "Look, I ran into Mark by accident. We used to be friends and we caught up. That's it." "Ran into him?" I scoffed. "Then why did you book a table for 2 in advance? Why did you text him before you left the house?" "Because, yeah, I saw that too." She flinched. My words hit their mark. For a second, she just stood there, staring at me, her mind racing for an escape. Then her expression changed, her features softened, and she stepped closer, reaching for my hand. "Ethan, baby, you're reading too much into this. You know I love you." Her voice dripped with the same sweetness that used to melt me. But not this time. I pulled my hand away. "Cut the act, Emily. I deserve the truth." Her face darkened, and just like that, the mask dropped. The gentle wife vanished, replaced by someone colder.
"Fine," she snapped.
"You want to know the truth? Yes, I had lunch with Mark. Yes, I've been seeing him. But it's not what you think." "Oh? Then what exactly is it?" She let out a frustrated sigh. like I was the unreasonable one.
Mark listens to me.
He makes me feel appreciated. Lately, you've been so distant, so caught up in work. I needed someone to talk to. I stared at her, feeling a strange kind of numbness settle in. So, you turned to him? He's just a friend, she insisted, but her voice lacked conviction. A friend you had to lie about? A friend whose touch made you smile like that? I shook my head. I might be a fool for not seeing it sooner, but I'm not stupid, Emily. She opened her mouth to argue, but I wasn't interested in hearing another lie. I walked past her, heading straight for my office. Where are you going? She called after me. I paused at the doorway and turned back, my voice steady but ice cold. To get my things in order. You'll regret this, Emily. That's a promise. For the first time since she walked through the door, she looked genuinely afraid.
And she should be.
Because she had no idea what was coming next. Emily trailed after me, her voice rising in panic. Ethan, wait.
What do you mean by that?
I didn't bother answering. I was done playing games. I had spent months ignoring the signs, convincing myself that my wife wouldn't betray me. But now that I knew the truth, I wasn't just going to walk away quietly. I sat at my desk, pulled up my laptop, and got to work. You're being ridiculous, Emily huffed, standing in the doorway with her arms crossed. Are we really going to let one stupid lunch ruin our marriage? I let out a dry laugh. Oh, Emily, this isn't about one lunch. It's about all the lies, the sneaking around, the way you've been acting for months. I glanced up at her, and the fact that you clearly don't respect me or this marriage. Her jaw tightened. That's not fair. I cut her off. No, what's not fair is me being faithful to a woman who's out smiling with another man while she lies to my face. What's not fair is the fact that I trusted you. Her lips parted, but she had no defense. I turned back to my screen, logging into our joint bank account. Emily was too distracted by our argument to notice what I was doing at first, but when she heard the click of my mouse, she frowned. What are you doing? She asked warily. I smirked. Oh, just making sure I'm not completely screwed over before this is all said and done. Her eyes widened as she stepped closer. Wait, Ethan, are you moving my money into my separate account? I finished for her.
Yep.
Since we both know where this is headed, I'm not about to let you clean me out before I can do something about it. She blanched. Ethan, don't be ridiculous. I wouldn't. I turned my laptop around, showing her the bank records. Really? Because you withdrew $2,000 just last week without telling me. And the week before that? Another $1,500. Emily's face drained of color. You weren't expecting me to check, were you? I asked, tilting my head. You thought you'd just keep taking little by little until what? You had enough to leave me in the dust. Her mouth opened and closed, but no words came out. Yeah, I said, leaning back in my chair. That's what I thought. She finally snapped out of her stunned silence. Okay, fine. Yes, I took money out, but it wasn't for him. I needed it for personal expenses. I gave her a long, hard look. You really think I believe that? She let out an exasperated sigh, running a hand through her hair. Ethan, please. Let's just talk about this. We can fix it. I let her words hang in the air for a moment before speaking. No, Emily. You broke it. And now you're going to deal with the consequences. I closed my laptop, stood up, and brushed past her. I had a lawyer to call. Emily finally started to panic. Ethan, she called after me. But this time, there was no defiance in her voice. Only fear. Good. Because she was about to regret every single choice she had made. Emily followed me down the hall, her voice now laced with desperation. Ethan, wait. We can work through this. Don't just throw everything away over a stupid misunderstanding. I stopped at the bedroom door, turning to face her. A misunderstanding? I scoffed. Emily, you lied to me. You took money behind my back. You've been sneaking around with him. That's not a misunderstanding. That's betrayal. Her lips trembled as she took a shaky breath. But I still love you. I shook my head.
No, Emily.
You love the comfort I provide. You love knowing that no matter how many lies you tell, I'll always be here, waiting. But that ends today. I grabbed a suitcase from the closet and started tossing in my clothes. She gasped. You're leaving? I gave her a cold stare. No, you are. Her mouth dropped open. What? I reached into my pocket and pulled out a piece of paper. I spoke to our landlord earlier. Your name? Not on the lease. This apartment? Mine. And since I'm the one paying for it, you have exactly 1 hour to pack your things and leave. Emily's eyes darted between me and the paper. You wouldn't do that. I smirked. Watch me. Her breathing quickened. Ethan, please. I made a mistake, but we can fix this. I'll stop seeing Mark. I'll do anything, just don't do this. For a moment, I almost felt pity. Almost. But then I remembered the way she waltzed in, smiling, after her lunch date with him. The way she had tried to gaslight me, calling me paranoid. The way she had already started pulling money behind my back, likely preparing for the day she would leave me first.
No.
She didn't deserve pity. She deserved this. I glanced at my watch. 58 minutes. Tears welled in her eyes, but I had already turned away. I walked to my desk, grabbed my laptop, and sat down. I had already scheduled an appointment with my lawyer. The divorce papers would be ready soon. Emily didn't move. She stood there, silent, before finally whispering, You'll regret this. I let out a small laugh. No, Emily. You will. And as she packed her bags and walked out of my life, I knew, without a doubt, she would.